Welcome back. This is Mike with Robert Quants. It's May 16th, and I'm back. Did you miss me? It's been a few months, actually. It's been 2 months since I've made a video, since I've posted a market update. Apologies. I actually had eye surgery, and it's been taking quite a lot of time to bounce back from it. It was quite intrusive, and it was corrective surgery after already having gone through two eye surgeries a few years ago. So in case you wonder, everything's fine. No, I can still see my screen. I'm not going by touch, not yet. And everything's perfect. It was actually corrective surgery after two eye surgeries I received a few years ago. It's a long, sordid story. And honestly, I just want to spare it. You really probably don't care anyway. And all you need to know is that I'm back and I'm going to be more present more often again and post videos and updates and everything because, well, first up, it's getting really interesting again after this corrective phase, right? And we're going to talk about this in a second. And yeah, I just love doing it. It's going to take a few more weeks before I feel comfortable showing myself on camera again because my eyes are still a bit swollen and, you know, one of those things. So I still look a little bit bruised up, but it's healing. Everything's progressing nicely and I'm back in the game. So, do you want to talk markets? Okay. Bitcoin USD. Okay, let's start here. And well, I've drawn my lines in the sand, and you can see there's my support here that I've drawn. I've drawn this a long time actually. It was, I think I drew it right here, around 60K, 61K, plus minus, right? Remember, technically speaking, and I'm very serious when it comes to my technicals, right? We never draw lines. We draw with a crane, but they never give you crane, they never give you anything that's more, that's thicker. I mean, I could make this thicker, I think, right? Is there some kind of, I think I can make this thicker. I don't know how thick I can make it, but those lines are just ridiculous. And I really think they lead people into establishing these thresholds that they think are like, handed down by the Lord. And it really isn't so. You can see the spikes below, and here's actually a breakout, a little fake out below. And that took a lot of people by surprise right here. It dropped all the way into, below 60K, all the way into 57K. And a lot of people were selling themselves. And of course, then it snaps back and a lot of people, it probably ran a lot of stops here. Why do these things happen? Because, well, people look at charts like you and they look at these lines that I draw because, we're not unique or anything like that. We all see the same thing. We all have several, the similar type of pattern recognition, and we see a support zone here, and we think, okay, better be observed, right? Otherwise, things are going to go bad. And sometimes they do go bad here. A lot of times, what happens when it goes bad? And let me show you this right now. Let me zoom a little bit, okay? So let's learn something. Okay, what happens usually is that it breaks down, comes back, retests, and then fails. So let's say it would have broken down here. It's very rare actually that it continues lower. It happens, but then the slide is so quick, so quick that you really can't do anything about it anyway, right? You just, your stop gets touched, or if you didn't catch the entry, if you want to go short, it's too late to the game. You have to really plan it here. You have to prepare for that here. So it happens, and if it slides all the way down, it's really an acceleration. And there's nothing you can do about it. So don't even worry about these situations. What happens more often actually is that it comes down, snaps back a little bit, but then falters here. Maybe it pops above, but then comes back down and lingers around a little bit and then drops. And then the inflection point is right here. In this case, it would have been around, 56K. Let's say 57K. Let's round it up. And had it breached through that, then it probably would have accelerated all the way down to 50. That's what usually happens. When you see this happening, where you see actually close above, you're pretty safe because that is very, very typical price action, right? Where it pops up above, and it did such a good job of even, this vertical here, where it about by that, and then comes back down, retests, and look how it gets curled up. See that? This curling up action here. And it's so tight at this point, there's so much momentum, and it has to break out one direction, right? It's hemming, it's hawing, right? It's like you're on the fifth date, right? You're on the fifth date and you say, Today or never, right? Because, I'm not paying for another dinner. Put up or shut up. This is what happens in these situations. So it pops higher or it could have broken down, could have happened as well. But this formation right here, we have this baseline. This is the stronger support line, right? And we have quite a few touches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, if you count this as well, right? 7, 8, 9. We have a lot of touches on this line. So this is strong support that's being obeyed. Why? Because market participants obey it. That's why. There's no magic to it. There's no, there's no magic in this. This is just how it works. Okay. Anyway, and then it pops higher and boom. See this candle, and everyone's like, "Whoa, what happened?" Right? And if you tried to buy here, if you were still like thinking about it, and you were still waiting for the perfect moment, well, you lost it, right? You just lost a few grand here. And here we are. So where are we? It's probably gonna come back down and retest. That's the way I usually look at it. It could continue straight up, but usually what it does, pulls back a little bit. Everyone's kind of relieved here. Okay, we established ourselves. We have support here now for the future, which is good, right? But it's gonna come back down probably a little bit, retest, press everyone's button. People are gonna be still a bit worried, and then it's probably going to continue higher. So this looks fairly bullish at this point. Again, it's never a guarantee, just for the record. It's never a guarantee. But for now, it looks pretty good. Let's look at Ethereum. Okay, Ethereum, USD. All right, looks a little bit weaker, and we don't see a strong breakout, but we have seen it detach, right, over the last 2 years, I think. The correlation has gotten a little bit weaker. It used to always lead ahead, but no more, right? So we're still trapped in here. So we have to still wait. It's still early in the game. We have this down, this falling flag here, whatever you might call it. And it's possible we actually see another retest down here. Yeah, maybe if Bitcoin, like we just saw, right? If Bitcoin retests its lower or even upper vertical support line, excuse me, then this one might come all the way down here to like 2800 and then snap back. So far it looks pretty good, but it's not as clear as Bitcoin, to be honest. Let's look at total. Total 2. All right. I actually haven't even looked at this chart, so I'm completely unprepared. This is first impressions, right? Which is the way I like it, right? I don't like to even think too much about it, because the more I think about it, about charts, the more you start interpreting into it. So let's draw some lines here. Very simple. I mean, you can draw a million lines here. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Look, ma, no arms, no hands. We're just doing this without indicators, without anything. We're just drawing a few lines, look at the price action, interpret, and just kind of see what's happening on the chart. Price usually tells us everything that we need to know. So total 2, what is total 2? Well, it's everything except Bitcoin. It includes Ethereum. And you can see it's been interesting. Look at this advance here. Let's talk about this part here first. This was really clean. Do you see how many dark candles? I mean, in red or black here. In this case, it's black, but if you have set it up differently, it would be red candles. And how many down candles do you see? Not many, right? So this was a really, really nice steady advance across the entire market, all the way into mid-March. And then look at this volatility that kicked into the market. And that has played itself out like a rock, like when you throw a rock into a lake, right? And it kind of produces these waves, and it's quite a bit of momentum, and all of a sudden momentum drops, right? And it starts coiling up. And I expect something to happen here at any moment. So this is coming, probably at the latest at the beginning of summer. Yeah, I would say so. At the latest of the beginning of summer, something's going to happen in Ethereum, because this volatility here has coiled up, and it's not going to just keep crawling around here. It's going to pop higher and then probably do something like this. Continue higher in this direction, right? Towards this direction here. Yeah. So we'll see. We don't know yet. Of course, it could break down, of course. Yeah. If it breaks down, that's bad mojo. It's going to come down all the way to here. So we don't want that. Let's look at total 3. Okay, looks very similar. So really nothing to add here. Okay. So that's basically the market. And if we're looking at, I don't check these indicators very often, but what's the state of the market? Every few months you want to look at that, market value, realized value, z-score. With z-scoring basically, realized cap versus market cap. And when we do that, we basically put it in the context of standard deviation. If you remember standard deviation, do I have my drawing tool up? Let me check here. Where's my drawing tool? Okay. See if I can do this. Okay. All right. So the good old bell curve. Everything lives in a bell curve, right? And so we have here's the center. Hey, I'm doing this with a mouse. Give me some credit, guys. It's not bad. So we have standard deviation here, and then here we are. Yeah? So that's kind of like two standard deviations. So 68%, right? Right here. All right. Look at me today, huh? I'm really not an artist, seriously speaking. Okay, but I'm not doing so badly today. 68%, huh? There you go. Beautiful, beautiful. I should hang this thing in the Louvre. So 34 each side, right? That's basically the probability. That's one standard deviation, right? One sigma, right? One standard deviation right here. Okay. So that's the probability, 68% of the time, right? Price action or whatever you measure, right? It might be demographics of something, or it might be rain pattern, I don't know, cloud patterns, or I don't know, airline accidents, whatever, right? or harvest data or something like that. What's to be expected, right? Coffee harvest. By the way, did you guys know cocoa has gotten super expensive? I talked to my buddy Scott the other day, and he told me, he made a fortune in cocoa, being invested in Mulvaney, and I'm like, wow, good job, dude. He invested many years ago, and Mulvaney put some money into cocoa, and he's made a bundle with that. Cocoa has gotten really expensive, but anyway, if you look at cocoa prices right now, they're probably out here somewhere, right? They're probably way beyond standard deviation, here somewhere, because cocoa prices, hot chocolate, sorry, has exploded. And so if you go to Starbucks or anything, you get yourself, your hot chocolate, you're going to pay more very soon. We're here. And so that's standard deviation, right? That's price that you really don't expect, right? And here the same thing. If you're looking at, let me remove all this. We're putting basically the market value versus the realized value, and we put this into standard deviation. We put this into context in terms of standard deviation. So one standard deviation, let me draw. One standard deviation would be here, two would be here, three here, four. You can see how far out we would be out here, right? So back when, in 2018, 2018, we were out like 8 standard deviations in terms of the market value versus the realized value, right? In terms of z-score. That's how crazy the market became. In 2021, it was still pretty crazy. We were at 7 standard deviations almost. Yeah, that's how far it went. So where are we right now? Well, we're like here. We're a little bit about 2.5. That's still, 3, sorry. I would say it's 3. Let me look. Remove all this stuff. Yeah, here we are, right? So that's around 3 standard deviations. That's still nothing. Yeah, that's still nothing. We're just still getting going here. So this is looking pretty solid. We got plenty to go for the rest of the year. Plenty to go. See, we're like, where are we? Good question. I know what you're thinking. Are we going to get this? I can read your minds. Because we're all wired the same way, right? We're all wired the same way. Are we going to get this? Possible. It happens. You never know. But if it happens, Gravitas will keep you in the game. Anyway, if you're not a Gravitas subscriber, send me an email, okay? It'll keep you on the right side of the tape. Where have we been? Can I get this on the screen? I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, right here. That's where we've been. See that? Sorry, this is just part of my folder. That's how Gravitas has been performing. It's been kicking ass and taking numbers this year. And last year. And the year before. Doing the bear market, yes. So, yeah. Send me an email if you want to join Gravitas. It'll cost you, I think, less than a coffee a month or something. If you get the lifetime license. Anyway, moving on. So, MVRV score, right? It's still pretty mild. We've got plenty to go. We're going to have a really, really interesting second half of 2024. That's pretty clear. This is really building up. I do feel we might get something like this by like next February, next March. Also in terms of the timing, right, with Bitcoin halving. Remember, the Bitcoin halving, there's always a delay of like 6 months or so. Every single time this has happened, it was pullback and then there came a delay. This time, we didn't even correct very much. I expected actually a much deeper correction because it's what it's done traditionally. We haven't even corrected, right? So this is extremely bullish what's going on right now. I'm super excited. And also look at the net unrealized profit loss, NUPL. That thing kind of let us down in the 2021 market. So I'm not really going strongly by it anymore as a threshold, right? Where we say, okay, if it comes from, if it breaches here and comes back, then we get it on the market. But we're keeping an eye on it. We're still in the belief. People are starting to believe again. But it's still pretty weak. I mean, retail is sitting this one out, which is also another thing. If you're looking at Google Trends, right? Nice boat. Google Trends. All right, let's take a look. I think I actually had it bookmarked somewhere, but let's just pop it up. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. Yep. Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin Cash. And then I'm in Spain right now. I don't know where that was. Puts up Spain. Let's look at United States. USA, baby. All right, here we go. And then we go for, let's say 5 years. Sound good? Okay. Here we go. All right, so you can see where we are. There's nothing. There's nothing. And if you remember the 2021 market, see that right here? Okay, we were, I think it was like when things really started going in a market. Let's correlate. I like playing these games. Let's go back. Back to the future, right? Back to the past in this case. So let's look at when did things get really wild? Okay, like here, I'd say what, December. And that's when, before everyone got burned by, FTX and all these other games that were played. Let's say late 2020, right? Things started really picking up and the market really went crazy, right? So, and retail really came in up here and then up here again. But let's say December 2020 or January 2021, right? So if you're correlating that, let's go back here. Okay. Yeah, see that? December 5th, 2020. See that? It hadn't even picked up yet. And that's when things were going wild. And here the same thing. We have nothing right now in terms of the activity. I mean, it's just actually has dropped again during this correction lately. People again have given up on it. There was some spike in interest and now, retail again. It's not even looking at it. So when this thing goes bonkers and at some point when Bitcoin hits 100K, things are going to go wild. Monkey wild. Crazy wild, okay? So that's that. That's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. I keep it a little bit shorter next time, but I just had fun today, so, bear with me. And, yeah, I'll see you next time, okay? And, hey, by the way, while you're here, press that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, okay? And pass on the word, okay? Every little bit helps. Cheers. See you then.